Okay, we're back.
We're back.
So, Ryan and I have been having some really fun conversations with like high school and college age individuals because he runs the internship program at our church. And so they had tons of questions about marriage. I mean, we talked for like an hour and a half answering questions, except I felt like I was doing most of the answering because of my bad dating experience, honestly. But not Ryan. But yeah, one thing that came up, and I think comes up often with people, and it did come up for me too when I was dating, is how do you know when you're with the right person, or how do you know this is the one? And so many people, when I would ask that, would just be like, "You just know," and I always hated that answer.
Hated it.
But now I'm giving that same answer. I don't know what your experience was, and I can probably tease it out some more to maybe be helpful, but it really is true. Like, you just know. Like, what was that like for you? Do you agree? Do you think there were something more to that?
So, yeah, I unfortunately agree because it's true. So, but I'll give you my example. Justin and I's first date. I remember coming home. My friend Lauren was at my house, and I immediately was like, I gotta marry him. Like, I gotta marry him. He was just so cute and fun and hot. But we also went on, excuse me, a 4-hour first date. So it was just a long time. But I literally felt like I knew immediately. And I was like in my relationship before that, I was like convinced I was going to marry that person, but I was not, it felt a little bit forced, I guess, or it felt like a little bit just like, I guess this is who I'm going to marry. Oh, isn't that so sad when you hear it out loud?
I know. And I feel bad for the guys I dated, because not all of them were like bad, but sometimes I'd be like, this is as good as I'm going to get. So, like,
yes,
which is terrible to say, because there were some really great ones. There were some really great ones.
Right. And that is when you know that you don't know. When you think that's when you know that you don't know. Mm-hmm. But with Justin, I remember thinking like, no, that's like, this is top tier. Like, this is it. I knew immediately, I was like, I'm ready to say I love you by day 2. And that's not like me, really. Honestly, it's not. But he took 9 months to say I love you. So it was torture, like ridiculous. But here's how I knew that he knew. Whenever we were on our first date, he said, we were just like talking. We both have divorced parents, right? And we were talking about that. And he goes, so how would we do Christmas? I mean, theoretically, 2 people in our situation, like, how would just like 2 people? And I was like, oh, you just outed yourself. You love me. And that was on our first
really
date.
Cool by not saying I love you until 9 months later.
Exactly. I'm like, see, I knew that you knew. So anyway, I think that that's how he knew. I think he knew. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It almost like scared me because I was like, wait, this is like it. Like, I know that this is it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, that I think that's kind of like how I knew.
Yeah.
How did you know? Because you had been engaged prior.
Yeah, I thought I knew multiple times.
Okay.
And like the same with you. Almost I was telling people, this sounds terrible, and I don't want it. It just is what it is. But like every guy I dated, we talked about marriage. Like, for some reason, they just wanted to marry me, and probably because I was like the nice girl. And so we live in a small town. There's not a ton of options here. So that's probably, it's not anything to do with me. It's just limited scarcity drives up the value. So yeah. So I literally, like, from high school all the way up, it was, I was like, oh, this is the one. No, it turned out not to be. Okay, this is the one. I was like, no, Nope. Yeah, no again. But with Ryan, it was obviously different from the beginning. And
Yeah.
I just knew. Like I won't say that on the first date I was like, I'm gonna marry this man. But our conversations were different. Um,
Ooh, yeah.
like the first question he ever asked me, we had never had a conversation prior to our first date. And on our first date, we also had a very lengthy first date. He took me to a restaurant that was an hour away. So we were
No way.
that's a bold move, my friend.
Bold.
We were forced in a space, just the two of us in the car for an hour drive. Then we had to eat dinner and talk. Then we went to a bookstore and talked, which I didn't like reading at the time. So I was like, yeah, this is great. I love bookstores. Um, super fun. Then we got frozen yogurt. Then we drove back an hour. So like it was forever.
Yeah.
The conversation never stopped. And
Right.
and so plus I think too, like I just knew because I was in a much different place, like maturity wise, spiritually. I was in a much more stable position where I
Right.
had come to the point where I was like, Jesus is finally enough for me. And I'm good if it's me and him the rest of my days. I was actually getting ready to move to Los Angeles when I went on a date with Ryan. Like I was moving in 2 weeks. So it was
Wow.
basically like a do or die. Like, let's try this, see what happens because we have nothing to lose
Right.
because I'm leaving. So, I was just in a different headspace than I had been previously with other guys. I had grown up a lot, especially after 2 failed engagements. So maturity, like I always wanted a wedding, but I never wanted a marriage. And so I
Mm.
had finally gotten to the place where I was ready. I didn't need marriage. I was good with just Jesus, but I was ready to commit, which is hard to do as a 7.
Yeah. Sure is.
So like all the little things added up to where it was like I just knew. Like um, on our second and third date, like I can't remember if it was our second or our third one. We went hiking, and I felt comfortable, which isn't typical, especially when you're dating someone that you've never met before. Like you're typically like a different version of yourself, like
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
fully yourself, but like we were hiking, I was talking, I was singing Disney songs. Like I was just like, and I literally had a thought during that date. I was like, it's like I'm hanging out with my friend. This is
Yes.
and so it was just different all the way around, which made me just, I really did just know, but it was because
Yeah.
of all those little things that set it apart.
Yep.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I would totally agree. I think it's like, when you know, because you have a permission slip to be your most authentic self.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part about marriage?
So this was something that I was asked not long ago, and I had no idea what to say because nobody's ever asked me. They always ask about like, how do you communicate in marriage, or like, what's the hardest part? But nobody says, what's your favorite thing?
Yeah.
Caught me off guard, and I felt like a bad person because I didn't have something to say. But honestly, like Ryan and I, we have we have kids. It's not just us anymore, and all of that. So that kind of supports my answer here a little bit. But my favorite part is knowing that there's someone who has my back, like a constant partner.
Yeah.
And that is probably my favorite part, just knowing that like this person will fight for me. They're on my side. Even when we disagree or I'm upset with someone and he takes that person's side, I know it's because it really is because of my best interest, like to grow and see things from that different perspective. And so So it really still is with my best interest. And especially with kids, like, I don't know how my mom did it with 2 daughters as a single parent. I don't know how any single parent does it. I lose sleep when I don't sleep, when Ryan is gone from the house and I'm alone with the girls. It's so much responsibility to shoulder by yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
and we have Jesus, but still, like, it's still a lot of pressure. And so having a partner, like, I don't have to be responsible for all of the decisions and safety of my kids. Like, it's so nice to have someone to shoulder that responsibility with.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that, I mean, it's somebody to do life with. It's a partner. It's someone to laugh with, someone to, well, I cry and he smiles because he doesn't know what to do. But
Yeah.
still, I think having a partner and knowing that someone has my back is super, super helpful. I had that with my best friend who was, who passed away a few years ago. And when she died, even though I was married, I was like, I've lost it. I've lost my loyal person who will fiercely support me no matter what. Like, I've lost her.
Yeah.
And Ryan and I were like, we had been married a few years at that point, but we were still learning a lot. And so
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, I still have that person, and that's my spouse. And so
Yeah.
I think that would be my favorite part. What's your favorite part?
Mine is not as in depth as yours is probably. I think that yours is a fantastic answer. And I gotta be honest, my favorite part is the inside jokes. Like,
There's that partner though. It's like that.
Yes, I mean, it goes kind of hand in hand, right?
Like partner in crime.
Yeah, like you go through all this stuff together, and it's just so funny to me, the things that can come out of it, or like the random nights where you like just stay up laughing as hard as you can. Like, that is my favorite part, is like the fact that and this is so dumb, I'm so exposing our intelligence level here, in humor or whatever, but like so there's these chips in Louisiana and they're called Zaps. Okay, they're incredible chips, like literally just a bag of chips. That's all they are. Okay, they're so good though. Anyway, we love the chips, and they're called Zaps. And one day I was like, I don't even remember exactly what happened, but I was like, hey, like, can I have some Zaps? And he is like, yeah, you're my Zap. Or like, he made some stupid joke like that. And from that moment on, we have called each other Zap. Like, it's like, how's your day, Zap? Love you, Zap. Like, it is so dumb, but it's like our thing. And that's my favorite part. It's just like that. Or like, there's this show that we love, and there's a character, his name is Shuby, and for some reason I'll just be like, what's up, Shuby? Like, to him. I don't know, but that's my favorite part, is that there's always someone to like joke with, and that gets you through jokes and whatever. Even if he thinks he's hilarious, sometimes I don't think he's that funny. I think I'm hilarious. Sometimes he doesn't think I'm that funny, but there's those moments where you're just up laughing all night together, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of being the partner, is like, there's somebody who gets my jokes, or even if they don't, like, I'm still having a good time and I don't care if it's a joke. Yeah, I think there's so many like little moments and things. It's like your friend. I mean, it's like a friend that is stuck with you for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
For the rest of their life. So,
exactly.
So yeah, I love that.
Boom.